We all fear being alone, don't we? That deep, unsettling silence that makes our skin crawl. Loneliness is treated like a disease, something to be cured. From a young age, we're taught that power comes from connections, from followers, from likes and shares. But what if that's wrong? There was a man who walked in the complete opposite direction. A man who chose isolation over popularity, solitude over validation, focus over comfort. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. He fought in over 60 life-or-death duels and never once tasted defeat. Yet, his greatest victory wasn't on the battlefield. It was within himself. Musashi walked alone, not because he was rejected by the world, but because he understood something most people never will. Musashi was a ronin, a masterless samurai. He had no lord, no permanent home, and no one to protect him. To the society of his time, this was the ultimate sign of failure. But for Musashi, it meant freedom. He believed that depending on others weakens the mind, that crowds dilute your clarity, and that comfort is the enemy of mastery. While other warriors were busy gathering allies, Musashi was gathering self-discipline. While others desperately sought praise from their peers, he sought only truth. For him, solitude wasn't an escape from the world, it was his training ground. Just 7 days before he died, Musashi wrote down a short but powerful text, the Dokkodo, which translates to the path of aloneness. This wasn't a guide meant to comfort you. It was meant to harden you, to forge you into something stronger. Some of its core principles are stark and direct. Accept everything just the way it is. Do not depend on fleeting pleasure. Do not seek the approval of others. Do not fear solitude. And most importantly, never stray from your own path. This isn't about being lonely. It's about achieving true mental independence. Musashi understood a timeless truth that our modern society has largely forgotten. If you cannot stand alone, you cannot truly stand at all. Your strength will always depend on someone else. So why did Musashi avoid deep attachments? It wasn't because he was a cold, heartless man. It was because he was intensely aware. He knew that attachment breeds fear. The fear of loss, the fear of being judged, the fear of being abandoned. And for a warrior, fear clouds strategy. A warrior who fears losing will hesitate at the critical moment. A thinker who fears judgment will start lying to himself. So Musashi trained himself to let go. He understood that people come and go, cities change, and even battles eventually end. Through it all, he remained centered, unshaken by the shifting world around him. His anchor was not outside, but within. For most of us, being alone feels like a weakness, a state where we might just collapse. For Musashi, it was when he truly expanded. In the quiet of isolation, he practiced his swordsmanship relentlessly. But he didn't stop there. He studied multiple disciplines, he became a renowned painter, he wrote philosophy, and he constantly sharpened his strategic mind. Towards the end of his life, he retreated to a cave called Rigando to write his masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings. There were no distractions, no noise, and no excuses. There was only the singular pursuit of mastery. Solitude has a way of stripping away all illusions. You simply cannot lie to yourself when you're sitting in silence. Musashi's path teaches us that true strength is forged in solitude. It's in the quiet moments, when we face ourselves without distraction, that we discover who we really are and what we're truly capable of. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into the minds of the greats. In today's world, true solitude is a luxury. Our phones are constantly buzzing, screaming for our attention. Social media feeds our insecurities, making us compare our lives to curated highlight reels. We've started to confuse all this digital noise with genuine human connection. If the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi were alive today, he would likely see our modern life as a form of mental slavery. He warned against the traps of instant gratification, the pursuit of pleasure without any deeper purpose, and the danger of emotional dependency on others. He understood that real power, true strength, comes from deep focus, not from a high follower count. If Musashi were here, you can bet he wouldn't be chasing trends or trying to go viral. He would ignore the crowd and focus on his path. Walking the path of the loner, as Musashi did, doesn't mean you have to hate people or become a hermit. Far from it. Musashi didn't despise others. He simply refused to be controlled by their opinions, expectations, or demands. Walking alone doesn't mean rejecting society entirely. It means you are not owned by it. You can still love deeply, but without possessive attachment. You can work hard and find satisfaction in your craft, without needing constant validation from a boss or colleagues. You can create beautiful things, not for the applause, but for the pure joy of creation itself. This is the key. Solitude becomes a profound strength when it is a choice you make, not a circumstance forced upon you. When you choose to spend time with yourself, you're not lonely. You're free. So why did Musashi choose this path of walking alone? Because he valued clarity over comfort. He chose discipline over fleeting pleasure. He sought truth over social approval. He understood a fundamental principle that many of us run from. The strongest person is the one who can sit alone with their own thoughts and not feel the desperate urge to escape. In a world that is hopelessly addicted to noise, distraction, and external validation, the loner is the one who can see things clearly. They have the space to think, to plan, to understand themselves and the world on a much deeper level. So if you ever feel that pull, that calling to walk your own path, even if it means walking alone for a while, don't mistake it for weakness. It might just be the beginning of your journey to true mastery. Thanks for watching. Why does the crowd always fail? Well, it feels safe, doesn't it? But that safety is an illusion. When you move with the crowd, you inherit its weaknesses. The fear of standing out, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being alone. Musashi saw crowds as predictable, and in battle, predictability gets you killed. In life, the popular path leads to mediocrity. That's why he avoided schools, clans, and permanent alliances. He didn't want borrowed thinking. He wanted original perception. The crowd copies, the loner creates. Now, walking alone isn't peaceful at first. It's brutal. Silence forces you to confront everything. Your fears, your insecurities, your unresolved trauma. Most people run straight back to the noise because that silence exposes their weaknesses. But Musashi didn't escape that pain. He trained inside it. Every lonely night sharpened his awareness. Every quiet morning strengthened his discipline. Solitude didn't make him fragile. It made him unshakable. He also had a unique relationship with suffering. Musashi believed suffering wasn't a punishment. It was instruction. Comfort teaches you nothing, but pain teaches you everything. That's why he slept outdoors, why he traveled endlessly, why he fought duels under unfair conditions. He wanted life raw, unedited, because only raw experience produces real wisdom. A man who is protected from suffering never grows sharp enough to survive reality. This ties into how loners think. They think in long time frames. The crowd thinks short-term, likes, money, attention, comfort. Loners think in decades. Musashi wasn't interested in winning today's approval. He was interested in eternal principles. That's why his work, The Book of Five Rings, is still read centuries later. Short-term thinkers build popularity. Long-term thinkers build a legacy. Walking alone frees you from that constant sense of urgency. It gives you true perspective. So what about relationships? Musashi never married. He didn't build a traditional family life. It wasn't because he despised love, but because he understood the power of distraction. Romantic attachment can become a leash. Emotional dependency clouds your judgment. Musashi believed that if something controls your emotions, it controls your decisions. This wasn't about emotional emptiness. It was about emotional sovereignty. He chose mastery over intimacy. Finally, let's be clear about the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is pain caused by dependence on others. Solitude is strength created by independence. Musashi wasn't lonely. He was complete. Lonely people need company to feel whole. Whole people simply enjoy the silence. If being alone makes you anxious, it might just mean you haven't truly met yourself yet. Musashi met himself, and he did not look away. Thanks for watching.